Yo, DJ Metatone.
Today, pop, R&B, rap, and dancehall are the most popular music. Dr. Moses Josiah fights to popularize another, soul music. In 1947, Dr. Josiah had his first public performance in the Kitty Market area in Georgetown. He also performed at Guyana's first independence in 1966. More than 50 years later, he is still performing in New York and in Guyana. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Josiah. Where and how old were you when you first heard the saw being played?
I started my musical career in Guyana in 1947 when I was just 17 years of age. After reading an article which described how authentic music can be extracted from the blade of an ordinary saw, I became interested, picked up my daddy's old carpenter saw, followed the instructions within the article, and was able to get the notes of the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. I was looking for my, yes. After that, I was able to play tunes like Amazing Grace and the song that says, Born in a Land of a Mighty Uraima.
I've learned that you mentioned in an article that the saw is the only musical instrument that is closest to the human voice. Tell us about that.
That is quite true. The sound of the musical saw is very close to the human voice. And I must let you know this, the idea of a saw becoming a musical instrument started in Africa and was brought over to the United States by the slaves who at that time, during their ceremonial dances, would scratch music from the saw. Since then, the idea has been improved upon by the use of percussion, similar to that of the steel pan. I use a hammer also on that, and bowing, for which you will see.
Tell us about your first public performance in Guyana in 1947 at the corner of Bar and Alexander Streets in Kitty, Georgetown.
No, while I was practicing at my home every day, there was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Street. He came to me and says, Moses, my God, what a talent. You should go there, man, by the market square and show the people what you can do. I was shy, you know. And he said, let's go. I took the saw and the hammer. I hadn't the bow then. Remember, I just started to play. And he sat me down. Not on a chair, a soap box. And he put a newspaper on the floor with 4, we say in Guyana, bricks at each end. And he said, Moses, go ahead and play. And with my head down, you know, concentrating, striking the hand, I started to play. My first tune was, Can a woman's tender care cease toward the child she bear? The title of that hymn is Hark My Soul. And believe me, by the time I got through with that hymn, there was a crowd around me. One lady said, "Oh, give the man some breeze. Oh my God, give the man some breeze." Because the crowd was so thick. And the coins was just pouring in. The bits, and the sixpences, what they call it, the bits, and they're not pennies like we have in America, the bits and the big jill, you know. And all the other coins were showering on me. And I performed there, and that was a Sunday morning. It was something, because people all over the village, the news went all over the village. Come see this man that played just a wonderful instrument they saw. At the time I was working at the Georgetown Hospital, I took 2 months vacation and I came here. And I came to the United States, and during which time I took the opportunity to audition for the Ted Mack Amateur Hour. That was in 52nd Street, Manhattan. And at my audition, the judges said, "You've got it, young man. You'll be on," you know. And I performed in that show. I was the only black performer. And I performed, and it was very successful. I won. Yes, I did. I won, but you know, I had to come back to my job at the Georgetown Hospital. It was similar to that of the American Idol. If I were there still, then there would have been continuous week after week, you know.
Now, you've performed at Guyana's first independence in 1966. What was that experience like?
It was beautiful at Mr. Burnham's residence. I don't know what you call it now, but I performed there, and I was privileged to have met the Queen and her husband. I spoke to them, and they enjoyed my performance immensely. And it was a great experience. I performed for the first independence celebration. And now here I am, 50 years at the Jubilee Grand. I'm delighted to be back home, and I'm impressed by the changes so far. There's a lot to be done, and I pray that the Lord would continue to give our president the wisdom and strength to move forward with this country in such a way that it will attract visitors from all over the world. Guyana, I love Guyana. This is my home. Yes.
Thank you. How important is it to you to preserve, to pass on this musical tradition, which is rooted in West African culture?
It is very important to pass on my knowledge of playing the musical song, because in generation to come, they will remember me. I've taught classes in Burbank, California. I've taught classes in Santa Cruz, California. I taught classes in Disneyland, both white and black folks. And today I think quite a few of them are playing the saw. I also taught my grandson to play, which is my eldest daughter's son, and he plays the musical saw. So I pass it on. I pass it on.
You stand out as a musician because you play an instrument that is not popular in today's age of pop, R&B, rap, and dance hall. What keeps you going? What is your motivation?
Thank God for this gift and His anointing the, it keeps my mind occupied, and it keeps me going. Yes, keeps me going. Yes.
What motivates you?
Well, before I started to play the musical saw, I'm a guitarist. I also play the guitar, you know. And I remember the reason why I learned to play the guitar. I was walking one day in Kitty, and there was this Portuguese man playing the guitar, and it sounded so sweet. And I followed the man in the rum shop, we call it liquor store. I was so amazed. So I went home and I tell my daddy, I said, Daddy, I would like to learn to play the guitar. He said, all right, and he asked my eldest brother to accompany me, and I went to Lombard Street to a gentleman by the name of Mr. Hussein. He was making guitars. And my brother bought one for me, and I started to learn to play the guitar under the tutorship of a gentleman by the name of Mr. Licorice. Licorice, how about that? Mr. Licorice. My father paid him just 50 cents a week for 2 lessons. And the man was good at, and he taught me the basic guitar lessons. And I continued to practice and study more of the guitar music through a corresponding course, through the U.S. corresponding course of music, where I learned a lot more of the guitar, and I was able to teach students at Bishop High School. Yes, I taught for 1 year at Bishop High School. I've had a class of 13 girls, and they learned so fast that they were able to enter the music festival. I think it was 1967 or the one before, and they got 3rd place. Yes.
Dr. Josiah, I would love for you to close off this interview by performing one of your favorite tunes on the saw.
Acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Thank you very much.
Yo, DJ Metatone.